3D printing has become super popular in the last couple of years. It's gone from being just a fun hobby to real-world necessities. Maybe that's why we're seeing more and more of them being made. And figuring out which machine is actually the best is now a real challenge for the same reason. Is it all about speed, print quality, ease of use, or maybe even your budget? Well, I've sifted through the noise and ranked the top 5 best 3D printers you can buy in 2025. So let's find out which one deserves a spot on your workbench. At 5, we've got the Creality 3V3SE 3D printer, which is definitely worth a serious look if you're just getting into 3D printing and you're looking for something that won't break the bank. Think of it as the reliable friend who always shows up and gets the job done, no fuss. What's really cool about this machine is that it's designed to make those crucial first layers absolutely spot on. You know how important that is, right? It's like laying the foundation for a house. If it's not right, everything else can go sideways. Well, the Ender 3V3SE has this automatic bed leveling and self-offsetting thing going on, which basically means it takes care of that for you. Besides, you're looking at a decent build volume of 220 by 220 by 250 millimeters, which gives you a good amount of space to play with for your prints. Plus, it's got a Sprite dual-gear direct extruder. Now, without getting too technical, this is good news because it helps feed the filament smoothly and consistently to the hot end, which can reach up to 260 degrees Celsius. That means it can handle a good range of different materials. And to keep things stable while you're printing taller objects, it's got dual Z-axis motors. That's a smart move because it prevents wobbling and ensures your prints come out nice and solid from bottom to top. From what users are saying, this thing is a bit of a workhorse. It might not have all the bells and whistles of some of the more expensive printers out there, and it sticks with the Marlin firmware, which, although reliable choice, a bit backdated. But the main takeaway seems to be that it just works. It's a step up from earlier models in the same family, offering a much smoother experience. Speed-wise, it can hit up to 250 millimeters per second, which is noticeably faster than previous Ender 3 iterations. This isn't necessarily down to fancy software tricks, but more about its robust construction. It's actually the linear rods on the y-axis and those dual z-axes that contribute to its stability at higher speeds. Now there are a couple of minor things to keep in mind. The magnetic print bed, while convenient for removing prints, can sometimes be a bit fiddly to get back into the exact right position. And surprisingly, for a printer in today's market, it doesn't have a built-in filament sensor or Wi-Fi connectivity. Even at this budget-friendly price point, you might expect those features. But honestly, when you look at the whole package, the Ender 3V3SE comes across as a well-thought-out and refined entry-level printer. It's straightforward, reliable, and gets the fundamentals right. It's all about getting those quality prints without a ton of hassle, and from what I gather, the Ender 3V3SE delivers exactly that. Next, we've got the Bambu Lab A1 Mini 3D printer. Now, this little guy is all about packing a punch without taking up a ton of space. If you're tight on room or just want something that sits neatly on your desk, this could be right up your alley. Even though its build volume is a modest 180 by 180 by 180 millimeters, it's surprisingly capable. And it's loaded with all the clever tech you'd love to begin with. For starters, there's noise cancellation, which is a nice touch if you're working or living in close quarters. It also boasts full self-calibration, over-the-air updates, and even self-diagnostics. It's like having a little engineer built right into the machine, constantly tweaking things to make sure everything runs smoothly. What's also really interesting is the way Bambu Lab has streamlined the whole printing process. They've got this Maker World repository where you can find 3D models and literally print them with just one click on the A1 Mini. It really lowers the barrier to entry, especially if you're new to 3D printing and maybe a bit intimidated by all the technical stuff. Now, it's worth noting that some say it's not quite as polished as Bambu Lab's higher-end models. You might notice a little lag in the interface here and there, and there might be a few minor software quirks. But from what I hear, these are pretty small compromises considering everything else you're getting. For example, it's got a high-quality camera built in for remote monitoring. That means you can keep an eye on your prints from your phone, which is super handy. It's also got a nozzle wiper, although some find it a little finicky. But here's a big one. The hot end allows for toolless swapping. What I mean is, changing nozzle sizes is incredibly easy. So, if you want to switch between printing quickly and getting super fine details, it's a breeze. It's true that its printing capabilities are a bit more focused than some other Bambu lab printers. You're mainly looking at sticking with materials like PLA, PETG, and TPU-like filaments. But, and this is a cool but, you can expand its horizons with the Bambu Lab AMS Lite. This is a separate add-on that lets you print with up to 4 different colors or materials at once. So, putting it all together, the Bambu Lab A1 Mini seems to be hitting a sweet spot, especially for beginners. It's got a lot of the smart features you see in more expensive printers, but in a smaller, more accessible package. That's why it's a machine that many recommend to friends who are just dipping their toes into the world of 3D printing. It's about getting quality prints and a user-friendly experience without needing a huge amount of space or a massive budget. At number 3, we have the Qidi Tech X Plus 3D printer. Now, if you're looking for a printer that can really crank out parts with some serious speed, this is one you'll want to pay attention to. For what you get, it's a pretty impressive package. This machine is built around a clipper-based system, and it's got this Core XY motion system with input shaping. Now, what does that all mean for you? Well, in certain situations, it can rip through prints at up to 600 millimeters per second. So, you may think of it as the speed demon of the group. It's all about getting your creations in your hands faster. That speedy acceleration, combined with a high-flow hot end, means it can lay down plastic at a pace that keeps up with the top-tier speed-focused printers out there today. But here's where it gets even more interesting. The X Plus 3 has an actively heated build chamber. This is kind of a big deal, especially if you like to experiment with materials that can be a bit tricky. We're talking about those warp-happy filaments that can sometimes curl up and ruin a print. This printer can heat that chamber up to 65 degrees Celsius, which makes a real difference in how well it handles those materials. From what I've gathered, it makes a huge difference compared to similar enclosed printers that don't have this active heating. And get this, it even comes with a filament dry box as standard. It attaches to the back of the printer and serves as the main spot for your spool. Some say it can be a bit fiddly to work with, but the good news is you can take it off if you prefer a different setup. Now, compared to some of the newer enclosed printers, you might find that the X Plus 3 needs a bit of initial calibration. It's a bit of an older school approach, but the thing is, once you've got it dialed in, it seems to hold those settings pretty well, giving you quite a hands-off experience. You can just let it do its thing. Sure, it might not win any beauty contests. Some find its design a bit bulky. But if you're after speed and the ability to print with a wider range of materials, this printer can surely deliver. Coming in hot at number 2, we have the original Prusa XL. Now, if you're getting serious about multi-material printing and want something that really delivers, this is a machine you'll want to know about. The big deal with the Prusa XL is its 5-spool tool changer system, which means each print head is completely independent. This is a big advantage because you don't have to worry about clogs caused by mixing materials with different viscosities or melting points. You know how some printers have that single nozzle and have to purge material when you switch colors, leading to those little piles of filament poop? Well, the XL does things differently. Each spool has its own dedicated path and its own hot end. That means it can switch colors super fast without all that loading and unloading. Also, each color is basically on standby, warm, and ready to go. It's a much more efficient and less wasteful approach. So, not only is it faster, but you're not throwing away a bunch of filament with every color change, and there's more actual printing time for you. That's a win-win, right? And notably yet, each print head can hit up to 290 degrees Celsius, and the heat bed can reach 120 degrees Celsius, so you can expect it to handle tougher stuff like polycarbonate without breaking a sweat. With a build volume of 360 by 360 by 360 millimeters, the Prusa XL also gives you a good amount of space to work with, and it really carves out a space for itself as an expert-level machine for material versatility. If you go all in with the 5 tool heads, the possibilities really open up. And here's another cool detail. The heat bed is segmented into 16 individual tiles. These tiles can heat up independently, depending on where you're printing on the bed. So the Prusa XL adapts to your prints, whether it's the material you're using or the size of the object. It's all about being efficient and reducing waste where it can. By the way, Prusa also has an enclosure available now. This is a nice addition if you're printing with those higher temperature, more demanding materials. It also helps with air filtration, making it a bit more suitable for an office environment. Now, a fully loaded Prusa XL with all 5 tool heads is definitely an investment. But the cool thing is, you don't have to jump in all at once. You can start with a 2-head setup and add more tool heads later as you need them. That gives you some flexibility as your needs evolve. So, if you're looking for top-tier multi-material performance and efficiency, the Prusa XL is definitely a machine to consider. And finally, we have the Creality K1C 3D printer. Now this printer is really stepping up the game, especially if you're looking for something that blends high performance with a robust design. As a flagship model, it brings together a lot of advanced features in one combo package. Creality has built on their experience with the K1 and K1 Max to create the K1C. And you can really see the improvements. It's got this solid frame and a fully enclosed chamber made of transparent glass. That enclosure isn't just for show, by the way. It's designed to keep the heat in, which is crucial if you're working with more specialized materials that need a stable temperature environment. One of the standout additions to the K1C is the built-in AI camera. That's pretty cool, right? And it's not just a gimmick. It actually helps optimize the cooling fans to minimize issues like stringing and warping. Plus, they've upgraded the fans in the print head and added a powerful 18-watt chamber fan to further improve cooling. Under the hood, it's running a Core XY system, which is known for its speed and precision. This allows the K1C to hit those high printing speeds, up to 600 millimeters per second, while maintaining stability. They've even used smaller pulley gears to enhance that precision. The tool head has also got a major overhaul. It's equipped with a hot end that can reach a scorching 300 degrees Celsius and a unicorn tri-metal nozzle that's designed to resist clogs. What I mean is, it's built for reliability, which is something you really appreciate when you're tackling longer or more complex prints. They've also made the user experience smoother with a flexible build plate that has a PEI surface. This makes removing prints a breeze, and it also features hands-free auto-leveling. So, you don't have to mess around with manual adjustments to get those perfect first layers. The enclosure itself has been refined too. You'll notice things like better handles, magnetic closures on the door, and even an anti-shatter film on the glass for added safety. So it's clear they've paid attention to the details. Material-wise, the K1C is super versatile. It can handle a range of filaments, including some of the tougher ones like PLACF, PACF, and PETCF. That really opens up your options for different types of projects, and steering the printer is pretty straightforward thanks to its touchscreen interface, which lets you make real-time adjustments as needed. With a print volume of 220 by 220 by 250 millimeters, it also gives you a good amount of space to work with. And from what people are saying, the print quality is exceptional, even at those high speeds. It seems to excel across common materials like PLA and PETG, as well as those carbon fiber infused options. So, when you put it all together, the Creality K1C really seems to be setting a new bar for build quality and overall performance. Whether you're a serious enthusiast or a professional, this is a printer that's designed to deliver top-notch results. It's about getting that blend of speed, reliability, and quality, and the K1C appears to nail that combination. That's it for today, guys. Let me know in the comments which 3D printer has caught your eye. Also, consider giving us a like and subscribing if you enjoyed this guide. Stay safe, and enjoy your day.